You were never meant to stay small. You're not here to repeat the same stories of doubt, fear, and failure. You're here to rise, stronger, wiser, and unshakable. The past does not define you. It's time to let go of who you were and become who you're truly meant to be. In the heart of Buddhist wisdom lies a powerful truth. The path to freedom begins when we release the version of ourselves that no longer serves our growth. You're here today not by accident, but because something within you is ready to evolve, to break through, to rise from who you were into who you're meant to become. Your past doesn't define your future. It only anchors you if you let it. But you're not here to stay stuck in that shadow. You're here to step into your light, bold, strong, and unstoppable. Let's take the first step of this journey together. Step 1. Release or remain bound. One of the most piercing insights from the Buddha is this: you only lose what you cling to. Imagine for a moment you're carrying a backpack, heavy, worn, and overloaded. Inside it are regrets you replay, failures that haunt you, betrayals you haven't forgiven, and the self-limiting beliefs you've repeated so often they've become your identity. That burden has a cost. It slows you, drains you, keeps you circling the same pain again and again. But there is another way. You can set it down. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means no longer allowing the past to command your future. When you choose to let go, you reclaim your power. You stop living in response to pain and start living in alignment with possibility. Letting go is not weakness. It's the ultimate act of strength. It says, I trust in who I am becoming more than I fear who I've been. You were never meant to carry every scar forever. You were meant to learn, to heal, and to rise. Now is the time to loosen your grip on what no longer belongs in your story and walk forward, lighter, freer, and more alive. Step 2. Unmask the truth. Each day, without even realizing it, we put on a mask. It's not made of cloth or paint, but of habits, fears, and expectations. This mask is the false self, the version of you built for survival, not truth. It's the part of you that smiles when it wants to cry, that agrees when it wants to speak up, that hides its power to avoid judgment. At one point, this mask helped you. It protected you when the world felt unsafe, when you didn't yet trust your own strength. But now, it holds you back. Buddhism teaches that the ego, the constructed identity we cling to, is merely an illusion. It isn't who we truly are. It's a defense shaped by fear, by attachment, and by the belief that we have to earn our worth by becoming something other than ourselves. But the real path, the one that leads to freedom, isn't about becoming more. It's about becoming less. Less of the false and more of the true. To burn away the mask, you must sit with yourself in silence. Breathe deeply. As the breath moves in and out, visualize each layer of your false self falling away. Every fear, every pretense, every story that says you're not enough. In the stillness, something ancient and authentic begins to surface. A strength that doesn't need permission. A self that doesn't need to be performed. You don't need to pretend anymore. You don't need to earn love or approval. The real you, beneath the mask, is already worthy, already whole, already powerful. So let the illusion burn. Let your true self rise. And in doing so, you'll begin to live, not as an act, but as truth. Lesson 3. Stop feeding the weak mind. There is a part of you that resists growth, a voice that chooses ease over effort, comfort over challenge. In Buddhist teachings, this is known as the hungry ghost, a symbol of craving that is never truly satisfied. If you want to grow, to transform, and to live with strength and clarity, you must stop feeding this part of yourself. There's a version of your mind that thrives in stagnation. It loves comfort, avoids discomfort, and constantly seeks instant gratification. This part of you resists change, dreads discipline, and hides behind excuses like, I'm too tired, not now, or maybe later. It tempts you with short-term pleasure while quietly stealing your long-term progress. The hungry ghost within always wants more distraction, more rest, more indulgence, but no matter how much you give it, it remains empty. And the more you feed it, the louder it becomes. But here's the truth. You are not meant to be ruled by that voice. You are meant to rise above it. Every time that whisper creeps in, urging you to delay, to quit, or to escape, you have a choice. You can give in, or you can say, not today. When you stop feeding the weak mind, you weaken its grip. And in that space, something stronger begins to grow. The resilient mind, the disciplined mind, the mind that keeps moving even when it's tired, that chooses purpose over comfort, and that understands growth only comes through challenge. Each time you choose effort over excuse, your mental strength sharpens. Over time, those old patterns of avoidance begin to fall away, and what remains is clarity, focus, and inner power. So starve the weakness, nourish the strength. You'll be amazed at how far you can go when you no longer surrender to the voice that holds you back. Lesson 4. Embrace discomfort, don't escape it. In a world that moves at lightning speed, it's almost second nature to dodge discomfort. The moment tension arises, whether from uncertainty, emotional pain, or a tough decision, we tend to reach for distractions, scrolling through our phones, indulging in comfort food, binge-watching something mindless, anything to avoid that uneasy feeling. But here's a quiet truth we often overlook. Discomfort isn't your enemy. In fact, it's one of your most honest guides. In Buddhist philosophy, growth doesn't come from clinging to pleasure or chasing comfort. It comes from turning inward and facing what we'd rather avoid. Discomfort is not a threat. It's a mirror. It shows us where we are stuck and where we are ready to grow. Whether it's the physical strain of effort or the emotional sting of vulnerability, these uncomfortable moments hold the seeds of transformation. They ask us not to run, but to remain still, to witness, to feel without flinching. The path begins with mindfulness. When tension rises, instead of reacting or escaping, pause. Take a breath. Notice what's happening in your body. Observe your thoughts without judgment. The fear, the resistance, the tightness. They're not permanent. They're just passing weather. When you stop identifying with your discomfort, you loosen its grip on your mind. Each time you stay present with what hurts or feels heavy, you train your inner strength. You teach your mind that it doesn't need to panic or flee. Slowly, what once seemed unbearable begins to soften. You realize that pain isn't always a warning. It's often a sign that you're stretching beyond your limits. Think of discomfort like a fire that forges metal. It's not here to break you, it's here to refine you. Like a muscle that grows with effort, your capacity to face life expands each time you sit calmly with what feels hard. So next time discomfort arises, don't distract yourself. Meet it with awareness. Let it teach you about your strength, your patience, your resilience. You might just discover that the power you've been searching for has been sitting quietly inside you, waiting for this very moment. Lesson 5. Let go before life forces you to. At first, the phrase might sound unsettling. Die before you die. But within Buddhist wisdom, it holds a profound invitation to awaken fully by surrendering the parts of ourselves that no longer serve our path. This isn't about physical death. It's about the symbolic death of outdated identities. It means consciously shedding the layers of fear, regret, old habits, and limiting beliefs that we've carried for far too long. The person you've been, the one clinging to past pain or labels given by others, must be released so the truest version of you can emerge. We all walk around with stories about who we are. Stories like, I'm not enough, I always fail, I'm too damaged to be loved. At some point, these beliefs may have protected us, but now they act more like chains than shields. To evolve, you must let those stories dissolve. You have to stop living through the lens of who you were and start acting from the clarity of who you are becoming. That's the heart of dying before you die. It's not a loss, it's a liberation. But this isn't a gentle process. It asks you to look directly at your fears and insecurities. It may require walking away from comfort, routine, or relationships that feel safe but keep you small. Real growth demands that you leave behind the familiar so you can step into the unknown with trust. And here's the beauty. You don't have to wait for a dramatic life event to begin this transformation. Every single day gives you a new chance to let go. Each morning, you can choose to shed yesterday's burdens, mistakes, and false identities. You can rebirth yourself, not by becoming someone new, but by peeling away everything that isn't truly you. This isn't about adding more, it's about releasing, because the more you let go, the closer you get to your most authentic, powerful self. When you embrace this practice, fear loses its grip. You realize that your past doesn't define your future, and that freedom comes not from holding on, but from releasing. In that release, you find clarity. In that death of the old self, you discover the fullness of life. So choose to let go, not just once, but over and over. In every breath, allow yourself to begin again. And in that sacred space of renewal, you'll find a deeper peace, a freedom untouched by the past. Lesson 6. Cultivate a mind as steady as a mountain. In the early stages of our journey, the mind often behaves like a leaf caught in a storm, easily swayed by emotion, tossed by uncertainty, and carried away by the chaos of life. A single word, a passing setback, or an unexpected turn can throw us off center. But the awakened mind is not like a leaf. It is like a mountain, still, grounded, unshaken. In Buddhist thought, the mountain represents the ideal state of mind, firm, steady, and untouched by passing storms. Wind may howl, rain may pour, but the mountain remains. It doesn't resist the weather, it simply allows it to pass. To cultivate this kind of mind is not a matter of wishful thinking. It is a path that takes practice, intention, and patience. The first step is inner discipline. Just as a mountain does not dance with every gust of wind, your mind must learn not to follow every thought, fear, or distraction. It must stay rooted, anchored in awareness. The next time something outside of you stirs a reaction, pause and ask yourself, do I want to be ruled by this moment, or do I want to rise above it? The choice is always yours. Begin with the breath. Breathe slowly, deeply. Notice the thoughts, the emotions, the pull to react, but don't follow them. Observe without judgment. Let the storm pass while you remain grounded. This is mindfulness in action. It's the skill of being present, witnessing your inner world without getting swept away by it. The more you practice, the more you see. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the stillness beneath them. Training your mind to stay focused is another step toward this mountain-like strength. Just as the mountain doesn't chase the wind, you don't need to chase every distraction or thought that enters your mind. Concentrate on what truly matters, your values, your goals, your peace. Goals. This is why meditation is so vital. With daily practice, you refine your focus and deepen your stillness. You learn to stay centered, even when the world around you feels chaotic. Just as the mountain doesn't question its place, you too can learn to rest in a quiet certainty of purpose. And just like a mountain resists erosion over time, you develop emotional resilience. Life will challenge you, people will disappoint you, moments will trigger old wounds. But if your mind has been trained to hold steady, you'll find you can respond with wisdom rather than reaction, patience rather than panic. As you keep practicing, something beautiful begins to shift. You find yourself less reactive, more composed. Peace becomes your default, not because the world has changed, but because you have. Let the storms come. Let the winds howl. You are not the leaf anymore. You are the mountain. And when you build your mind to reflect that stillness, you become a quiet force, calm, unshaken, and ready for anything. Lesson 7. Embrace daily rebirth. We often think of transformation as something that happens once in a lifetime, after a major change, a crisis, or a breakthrough. But true spiritual growth doesn't wait for grand events. In Buddhism, there's a quiet, powerful truth. You can be reborn every single day. You don't need a new year, a new job, or a life-altering moment to begin again. Each morning is a sacred invitation to release what no longer serves you and step into a wiser, freer version of yourself. This is the essence of daily rebirth, choosing to start fresh with intention, clarity, and courage. We carry with us stories, labels, regrets, old habits, limiting beliefs that quietly shape our lives. Sometimes we forget that these patterns aren't who we are, they're simply what we've learned. And the beauty of being human is that we can unlearn, we can let go, we can choose differently. Every sunrise is a doorway. You can walk through it dragging the weight of yesterday, or you can step through with lightness, letting go of fear, resentment, and doubt. This doesn't mean pretending the past didn't happen. It means refusing to let it define you. Daily rebirth begins with awareness. Take a moment each morning to ask yourself, what am I still clinging to that no longer reflects who I want to be? Awareness allows you to see the unconscious scripts you've been following, and from that place of recognition, change becomes possible. The next step is intention. Set a clear, compassionate intention for your day. It might be as simple as, today I choose peace, or today I respond with love. This intention becomes your inner compass, quietly guiding your thoughts, actions, and decisions. But intention alone is not enough. Rebirth asks you to act, to step out of the familiar pattern and try something new, even if it's uncomfortable. Speak more kindly. Take the high road. Pause before reacting. Choose presence over autopilot. In these small, courageous actions, your new self takes root. And of course, there will be days when you slip back into old habits. That's part of the process. Don't punish yourself for being human. Instead, return gently to your path. With compassion, realignment becomes possible in every moment. The journey is not about perfection, it's about presence. Transformation is not a lightning strike, it's a soft unfolding, a quiet recommitment to growth, repeated day after day. As you practice rebirth consistently, you'll notice something powerful. The old identities that once held you back begin to dissolve. Fear loosens its grip. Doubt loses its volume. And your true self begins to emerge, clear, strong, and awake. You are not bound by the person you were yesterday. You are not chained to your mistakes, your past, or your old limitations. Each day gives you permission to begin again. Use it. Choose to grow. Choose to evolve, because every morning is more than just a new day. It is a chance to be reborn. Lesson 8. The quiet strength of consistency. In today's fast-paced world, where instant gratification is only a click away, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that real change must be big and sudden. We imagine transformation like a thunderstorm, loud, intense, and immediate. But in truth, lasting transformation is more like the rhythm of a quiet stream. It moves slowly, persistently, carving new paths over time. Buddhism doesn't ask us to make massive changes overnight. Instead, it gently guides us to take one mindful step after another. That's where the real power lies, not in sudden leaps, but in the quiet discipline of consistency. Consider the bamboo. For years, it grows underground, establishing roots deep and wide, while showing no sign of growth above the surface. It seems as if nothing is happening, but beneath the soil, a strong foundation is being built. Then one day, it shoots upward with astonishing speed, reaching heights that once seemed impossible. This is how inner growth works too, often unseen, always powerful. In Buddhist teachings, this slow and steady development is known as gradual cultivation. The Buddha once taught that even a path of 1,000 miles begins with a single intentional step. Many abandon the journey early because the results aren't immediate, but those who stay the course, step after step, begin to realize that transformation is a practice, not an event. Each small act, however ordinary it may seem, is like placing a single brick in the foundation of your life. At first, it might feel pointless, but over time, those bricks create something unshakable. Your daily 5-minute meditation, your decision to take a conscious breath before reacting, your habit of pausing to reflect, they add up. They become who you are. When you commit to these small actions, something magical begins to happen. You stop rushing toward results and start living in the present moment. Instead of being haunted by how far you have to go, you return to now, to what you can do today. Buddhism teaches us that the present moment is where life unfolds. The more we dwell in it, the more clarity and peace we discover. There's also something liberating in releasing the need for perfection. When we break our goals down into manageable steps, we give ourselves space to grow without burning out. We're no longer sprinting toward an unrealistic ideal, but walking steadily with grace and intention. This pacing allows your energy to stay balanced and your spirit to remain light, even through challenges. And as you walk this path, step by step, you start building a deeper relationship with yourself. You begin to trust your efforts. You recognize your resilience. Each small, repeated act becomes proof that you're committed, disciplined, and capable, even when the outer world hasn't yet caught up to your inner growth. This is how confidence is built, not through external validation, but through the quiet pride of showing up again and again. Even when it's hard, even when it feels slow, especially then. In time, these gentle efforts compound. What once felt like mere habits become part of your identity. Your new self doesn't emerge from a grand event, but from the collection of small victories you chose to pursue with care and consistency. And so, rather than waiting for one big moment to define your transformation, recognize that you're already in it. Each breath, each decision, each act of courage adds to the person you are becoming. Celebrate these tiny wins. Let them remind you that change is happening, even if it isn't loud. The beauty of your journey lies in its quiet momentum. Consistency is the heartbeat of personal growth. Let go of the illusion that you must change everything overnight. Release the pressure to be perfect. Focus instead on the one small thing you can do today, and do it with intention. You are not who you were yesterday. You are not yet who you will become. You are a beautiful work in progress, moving forward one quiet, powerful step at a time. And that is enough. And if you're ready to go deeper into this path of mindfulness and inner freedom, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a breath of peace when you need it most. Because this isn't just a video, it's a doorway, and beyond it is the life that's been waiting for you to arrive.